alleges. He's kind of throwing a lot of sparks on the fire, but again, the American electoral system as a system is sound, and now we just need to be patient and let all the votes be counted.
Can I ask you about the state which you represented, Arizona, because it's right at the centre of this story, projected for Joe Biden, which would be a shift from 2016 when it went to Trump. How do you explain to our viewers around the world why that shift has occurred?
Well, Arizona will go for Biden this year. The first time it will have gone for a Democrat for president since 1996, and only the second time for a Democrat since 1948. But it's part of a larger trend that we're going to be seeing across the Sun Belt of the United States, a gradual trend from Republican to Democrats, partially a reflection of changing demographics, partially a reflection of changing economic opportunities and economies in those states, and partially a result of basically better messaging by the Democrats.
Janet Napolitano, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much indeed. Well, let's continue to bring you coverage of this dramatic US presidential election. And I want to bring in Rita Chakrabarti, who's got access to all the results via her touchscreen, because, Rita, we've had yet another important moment in the last few minutes.
Yes, we've had CNN is projecting Wisconsin for Joe Biden. Now, this is a very interesting state because, in fact, the Democrats in Wisconsin thought a few hours ago that they had the state and they were declaring victory there before we were projecting it or before any other media outlet was projecting it. But as you've heard from Barbara Kletasher just a little while ago, if the margin of potential victory is very tight there, it could still be contested by the Republicans. So it is still a state that we are keeping in play. Wisconsin is up there in the northeast, as you can see. It's one of the grey states, and it is the grey states here that are yet to be called, and the ones where the battle for this election, this presidential election, is now being fought. It's very finely balanced, as you can see. Joe Biden on 227 electoral college votes, Donald Trump on 213, and that is adding, of course, to the tension of the situation, because both sides think that they have very plausible routes to the White House still. Let me plot two paths to the White House, one for each man. I'm going to use my blue pen here, of course, for Joe Biden. Nevada was Democratic last time round in 2016. They've stopped counting there today. They'll resume UK time tomorrow at 5 p.m. But let us assume, for the purposes of this scenario, that Joe Biden keeps Nevada for the Democrats. Arizona is thought to be very competitive. Let's say that the Democrats get Arizona. Wisconsin we've just discussed, but they do seem confident. That leaves him short by 16 electoral college votes. Michigan would take him to that magic 270. So that is a path to the White House that for the Democrats they think is a likely scenario. I'm going to take you back to the situation as it stands and do exactly the same thing for Donald Trump. So I use my red pen here. I conversely will give now Arizona, which is very competitive, put that as a hold for the Republicans, and let's assume that they hold Georgia, where they're still counting, and they hold North Carolina, where they're still counting. That leaves Donald Trump short by 15 electoral college votes. Say he were to triumph in Pennsylvania, hang on to Pennsylvania, which he got by a sliver last time round, that takes him over the line to 275. So for Donald Trump, it would appear that he has to win Pennsylvania in order to stay in the White House.
Rita, thank you very much indeed. So things ebbing and flowing all of the time, but it's worth reiterating there's a point last night when